Welcome to Sheriff's Talk, a public affairs program of KWN TV 7. Join us every week as we talk various aspects of law enforcement and how important it is for the citizens and law enforcement to work together. Now join us for another edition of Sheriff Talk on KWN Live and Local TV Channel 7. Here on KWN. Major, welcome back.
Hello, sir. How are you?
It's been a whole week since we were here.
It is.
Both of our sheriffs that we normally have on the program not going to be able to be here with us today. So the newly promoted major, you and I are going to talk a lot about what's going on.
Absolutely. Which I mean,
and we're social distancing, as you can tell. The set is
the arms lengths.
Yeah, on both sides.
Yeah, that's
so we're
right.
You know. The thing of it is, and I know that Jackson County has got 5 cases. Marion County, I think, is up to 5 or 6. Walker County still doesn't have a reported case. Dade County had their first case reported to the health department yesterday afternoon. Mm-hmm. But regardless of the numbers, nothing changes on what we need to do.
Nope. Same thing as it was yesterday when we had 0.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And I don't, because I mean, I guess it's important to, to keep track, but sometimes the numbers are so confusing and they come out so often, and
you can't wrap your head around it.
You don't need to get caught up in the
right.
numbers, because it still goes back down to what you need to do.
Right.
Social distance.
Absolutely.
If you're sick, stay at home.
Yep.
If you have an immune system that's not up to par,
compromised,
stay at home.
Stay at home.
If you're in that age group that needs to stay at home, stay at home.
Stay at home.
And if you need to go out, only go out to do things that you have to do: grocery store, mm-hmm. to the doctor's office,
yep.
if need be, if they're open, and to the drugstore.
Mm-hmm. And take precautions that you need to do that. If you have a mask, wear the mask. If you have gloves, wear the gloves.
Logan Boss, who is the public relations officer with the Department of Health here in the state of Georgia, did an excellent talk yesterday during the Kimona 19 live update that we air here on TV and radio, and they do at the county. He basically said, and this was the time before that case had been announced, he said, we need to basically assume, he said, there's cases everywhere.
Absolutely.
That we just don't know. He said there's a lot of folks that may have gotten this 4 or 5 weeks ago, didn't know what they had, and now recuperated.
Yep. Absolutely.
And just thought they had a mild case of the flu.
Sure.
So it doesn't change what the CDC guidelines are.
Right.
I don't like the word social distancing, because you and I can be social
right.
even on the telephone.
Absolutely, we can.
It's physical distancing, really.
It is.
But, I mean, I understand that they call it social distancing, and that makes sense. We've had some people that don't follow that, though.
Absolutely. What we're finding is up until, I don't know about many here lately, but a lot of folks were treating this time from work, where a lot of people were de-staffed or told to stay home, use your time, or companies are working with you for your time, but stay home for these 2 weeks. A lot of folks at first were treating this as somewhat of a vacation. They traveled, they took care of this, did that, went to movies, went out to eat, and that's exactly what we were trying not to do. The problem is that people still want to support their local businesses, and rightly so. But we have to, we have to lower the possibility of a contamination. And if you do have to get out, I mean, like we were saying, use your gloves, use your masks. Don't worry about looking silly, because you're not. Especially if you're compromised in some way, if you're a little bit older, if you have a bad immune system, if you're already sick, I mean, if you're already sick, that's a compromised immune system. So even if you're completely healthy but already sick, you're compromised. Those are really big things. But most of all, like you said, stay at home. Just stay at home. Do the things at home that you've been wanting to do, the projects or crafts. Or
I was reading
spend some time.
this morning that the home improvement stores are covered up.
They are.
Because people are doing just that.
Yeah.
I hadn't fixed that, and I've been wanting to for a long time, so they can do something there at the house, and they may have to run or have it delivered to them.
Yep. And guess what time of year it is?
Spring.
It's ready for gardens.
Right.
Plant your gardens. There's so much that we can actually do that we're usually so busy that we're not thinking about it.
Yeah.
My wife has been going crazy with stuff. Of course, she's a nurse, so she works all the time anyway. But she's been going crazy with crafts and doing this and doing that because on the weekends we don't go and do stuff like we used to. In the evenings, we just stay at home. We work, return home, and stay there. But now's the perfect time for a lot of those things that we've put off.
Absolutely. The governor has issued some new guidelines for Cloudland Canyon, and may have heard that on the news over the last couple of days about a lot of folks getting out, and they were told to get out, maybe go to a state park because there's plenty of room there, and in theory there is. We're going to talk about that. Stay with us as Sheriff Talk continues.
Have lunch or dinner at Guthrie's, home of the original golden fried chicken finger and the best chicken finger sauce in the world. Guthrie's can help you plan your family's meals or get-togethers with bucket specials every Tuesday, those delicious wings on Wednesday, and platters every day of the week. Plus, get sweet tea by the gallon. Remember, Guthrie's has a party room for small gatherings, too. Guthrie's, Highway 136 West in Trenton, home of those golden fried chicken fingers and the best chicken finger sauce in the world.
Guthrie's, not fast food, good food fast.
A small bank with big service. Citizens Bank and Trust, offering a wide range of services, including online banking. Pay your bills, manage your account anytime, 24 hours a day. Your account balance is only a phone call away as well at 657-1234. Or visit our convenient locations. Lookout Mountain, Georgia, Higdon, Alabama, or our main branch on Highway 11 in Trenton. Citizens Bank and Trust, 657-5678. A community bank that believes in the community. Citizens Bank and Trust. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Gigabit Internet residential service is now available to customers of the North Alabama Electric Co-op with NAEC Fiber in Jackson and Marshall County. Residential gig service is now available for only $79.95. Call today to have your gig service installed at 256-437-5000. High-speed fiber residential gig internet service now available to customers of the North Alabama Electric Co-op with NAEC Fiber. Business and commercial customers can get gig service too. Call for pricing 256-437-5000. Gig service from North Alabama Electric Co-op. 256-437-5000.
When you need a licensed plumber, call Stacy Ledwell and the staff at Mr. Reuter in Scottsboro. Mr. Reuter provides your home or business with advanced solutions using high-tech equipment. Our commitment to customer satisfaction shines through in our personalized service. When you schedule an appointment, our professionals will dedicate time to explain the work that has to be done. Our staff will give you upfront pricing, so you'll know exactly what's involved before any work begins. We even pump septic tanks and do new construction on houses. Fully licensed, bonded, and insured, Mr. Reuter in Scottsboro. Call Stacy Ledwell today to set up an appointment at 256-574-4710.
For the best deals on a Chevy, any time of day, roll on down to Riverside Chevrolet.
It's Truck Month at Riverside Chevrolet Buick GMC. Huge savings on All-Star Edition Silverados. Get over $15,000 off MSRP with several in stock, or get 0% APR for 72 months. Celebrate Truck Month where the buying is so easy.
Roll on down to Riverside Chevrolet.
I-24 West, Kimball, Tennessee.
Hey there, DMS. In case you haven't heard, sickness is on the rise in many different forms. We wanted to give you some tips for staying healthy. Tip 1, wash your hands.
Always wash your hands after using the restroom.
After using a tissue. And before eating. Follow these 5 steps, correctly wash your hands.
Step 1. Turn on the water and wet your hands. Apply soap and lather your hands by rubbing them together.
Step 3. Scrub your hands for at least 20 seconds.
If you're not sure how long to scrub your hands, sing the happy birthday song twice and you're good to go.
Step 4. Rinse your hands well.
Step 5. Dry your hands and dispose of your paper towel in the proper place.
If you can't wash your hands with water and soap, you could always use hand sanitizer.
To correctly clean your hands with hand sanitizer, apply the proper amount of gel to the palm of your hand and apply it over your hands and in between your fingers. You should do this for at least 20 seconds.
Tip 2. Cough and sneeze in your elbow.
Rather than sneezing and coughing into your hand, you should use your elbow.
Let's see the difference.
Hey man, you should really put that cough in your elbow.
Tip 3. Drink plenty of water.
But remember, don't drink after anyone else.
Follow these tips so you can stay healthy.
Back now to Sheriff Talk here on KWN. Glad to have you along with us, talking about what everybody else in the world is talking about is the COVID-19 and our response to it, our personal response, because it really is this disease, this respiratory disease, is a personal response.
Sure.
And because everyone has a responsibility to keep themselves at a distance from everybody else.
Absolutely.
You know,
and even though we're not infected, we're still highly impacted by this.
Oh yeah.
We're seeing our friends with restaurants, our friends with different businesses. They're not working. They're not making money. They're having a hard time. We're seeing a lot of other people that are personally very distressed with this, anxious, and rightly so to a degree, but some people it affects much more. But we're watching all of this take place, and it's right before our eyes. It's right here, and it's tough to watch. It's really tough.
Oh, it
to
is.
watch.
Absolutely. Well, you may have numerous, even we've reported it, and you've heard different officials talk about Cloudland Canyon State Park. Beautiful place. #1 visited state park in the state of Georgia. Mm-hmm. And it's right here in Dade County. It only has 16,000 people in it.
That's right.
And a lot of people don't. I still see people that have lived here all their life, and you tell them that 400,000 people come to Dade County every year and visit our state park, and they're going, really?
Really?
I mean, look at the numbers. Right. But they do.
Yeah.
And the last couple of weekends, because folks in Atlanta and different places, they put out, go to your state parks, and they got 40,000 acres here.
In the open.
In the open. Social distance. Mm-hmm. Well, there was an influx of people.
Sure.
And it caused an overrun. And people were not social distancing. And so the restrictions have come down from the governor's office.
Right.
And let me go over some of these, and I apologize, I'm going to have to read it from the phone here. This is from to meet the Governor Kemp's executive order. Mark Williams, who is the commissioner of the Department of Natural Resources, along with Governor Kemp's office, put this out regarding the COVID-19. They're implementing the following procedures at Cloudland Canyon State Park. The park will only allow up to, but no more than 150 day-use vehicles. Parking will only be allowed in designated parking spaces and will not be allowed in the overflow parking areas and fields, road shoulders, and unused access roads. Once the park is full to capacity of 150 day-use vehicles, additional day-use vehicles, if you come, will not be allowed in the park. When one day vehicle leaves, then they will allow another vehicle to enter. Mm-hmm. So the first 150 get in, and then once they leave, then they can let the next one in, and vice versa. Overnight vehicle parking will be limited to 2 cars per campsite and 2 cars per cottage. Okay. The park is limiting hiking access to the Canyon Trail and the waterfall in order to encourage social distancing, with a ranger stationed at the high traffic areas, the stairs and the waterfall. Law Enforcement Division game wardens will assist with crowd control measures during peak times. The park has controlled access to the visitor center, and the group lodge and the shelters can only be used by groups of 10 or less. Check-in registration is being conducted by phone, and signs encouraging social distancing are posted and provided to visitors at the entry kiosks, visitor center, Facebook, and all trail access points, the trail kiosks, and the Iron Ranger Park Pass boxes. So basically, 150 cars a day at one time is all that's going to be allowed into the park.
Right.
To limit, I mean, it's a big park.
It is. It is.
You know, so
and to be fair, it's outside.
Right.
Good ventilation. It's not. It's not enclosed.
What you've seen over the weekend, from what I've been told, and I've seen pictures. From what I've seen, you've had a number of people. They're just parking on the sides of the roads and secondary roads, and over at the foot of the Clown Canyon Estates, parking on the side of the roads, walking up to the canyon, walking down. Yeah. I've seen one picture where they were maybe social distancing, except there was a line going up and a line going down side by side with each other.
Sure. Within inches. It's not, the paths aren't that wide.
Right. I mean, so there again, that's why they're doing these restrictions, because people were just not heeding the 6-foot distance like you and I got.
Right.
And that's what we've got to do. We've got to be able to do that, and it's up to
Well,
us.
It's a personal decision to do that.
It very much is.
The government, county, local, federal, state, can only tell you what you need to do. And it takes you to do it.
There's in anything, it's got to be personal responsibility involved.
Absolutely.
Personal responsibility.
You have to take your own safety to your heart. If you're walking and you step around somebody, it's not about insulting them. That's not what it's about. You can still say hello. You can still say, "Hey, how you doing? Good to see you." But please, respect the fact that I'm going to keep my distance.
Absolutely.
Because I don't want to get sick. And it's not even that, because there's a lot of folks that maybe they don't want to get sick, but more importantly, like to me, I don't want to get sick to where I give it to my family or my father, and I don't want to get sick and hurt them. That's my biggest concern. It's not so much me. I'd probably be okay with it. I'd probably make it through just fine, but people that I love may not. And that's my primary concern is in this whole thing, is to stay healthy so I don't spread it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what we all got to do. It's a personal responsibility. It's not about whether you live in a county that's got no cases or 1 case or 5 cases or 7 cases or whatever. I mean, I think the last time I checked, the state of Georgia had like 3,000 cases.
I think.
There's 11 million people in Georgia.
Yeah.
So you can't look at that. You still got to say, I'm going to protect myself and the people around me by staying 6 feet apart.
Right.
And if I run a fever or if I get sick, stay at home.
Yep.
Don't interact.
That's
Don't interact with folks.
That's right.
Send somebody else to the grocery store. The sheriff's department is doing an excellent job, I know, in this county, and there's not another sheriff's department that we talk to, whether you're in DeKalb, Jackson, Marion, Dade, Walker, wherever, that if you called their non-emergency number and said, I've run out of medicine or I've run out of groceries, and you fall within that area, you don't have no way they will get you what you need.
Yep.
I mean, there is numerous organizations, but I guarantee you the law enforcement folks that I know and work with, they're going to make sure that you get what you need.
Absolutely. We've got a phone number actually set up. I don't have that with me, but we have a phone number actually set up.
I think it's 657-HELP. I believe, is one of the numbers, or you can call your non-emergency number at 657-DADE.
Correct.
Or
Correct.
That's 657. Well, I used to know it by heart. Now it's 3233. That's it. 3233.
Yep.
That's 706-657-3233.
And they can get into touch with somebody that'll get you some assistance.
And that's in Dade. And you call if and I know a lot of folks are watching us in Marion and Jackson, DeKalb, Walker, wherever you may be watching. Call your local authorities if you need help getting something, and you don't, by your health reasons, don't want to get out, or you don't have a way to get out. They'll get you some food.
Yeah,
they'll get you your medicine. They'll get whatever you need.
We'll get you some help.
By the executive order of the governors, they've extended. You don't even have to go back right now if your subscription or prescription needs a refill.
You're right.
They're automatically
refilled.
refilling.
Yep.
Yeah, they've extended it for 3 months, I believe, 90 days.
Yep.
So all of your refills are going to be refilled. You can call the drugstore and say, "Hey, my medicine's running out April the 1st," and they'll, You don't normally have to go back and get the doctor to re-up it. Right. That's got a 3-month extension automatically.
Driver's licenses, vehicle registrations, different things like that. I think there's an automatic extension to May 16th. So if in this time you're running out, your driver's license is expiring, you'll have an automatic extension to May 16th. It's at May 16th now. It may push out further, but the last date that I've heard of was May 16th. Right. So you've got an extension of a lot of different things that if you're worried about it right now, don't. You're fine. You're legal. You're safe. You're fine. Just pay attention to the stuff that comes out, and we'll try to keep you informed here with you in dates that you'll have to get deadlines that you'll have to get things taken care of.
Bottom line, if you had a birthday tomorrow and your driver's license is out,
yep.
I can't see from a federal agent all the way down to a city officer. Mm-hmm. If your driver's license out for a week, they're not going to give you a ticket.
No. Well, there's an automatic extension.
Right, an automatic extension.
So you're good.
That's not what the law enforcement's going to be focused on, whether your tag is out of date for 3 weeks or not. Now,
but there are lots of people that are worrying about that. There are lots of people that are thinking, well, it's my driver's license. Yeah, I've got to have that.
Right.
You're fine. You're good through at least May 16th.
And that's by order of the governor in the state of Georgia.
Correct.
And I have not kept up, but I am assuming that the other governors in Tennessee and Alabama have done the same or a similar type.
I don't know, but I believe they have.
Yeah, I would check just to make sure, but they're not issuing them. You can go online, and if there's certain criteria you've done, you can actually get your license renewed online.
You can pay fees or pay anything else.
Yeah, you can. So if you got your driver's license is going out, and you can go to their website and get your license mailed to you.
Sure.
And go ahead and do that.
Sure.
So there's just a lot of, if you have questions, call your local government. Mm-hmm. Non-emergency numbers. Don't call 911 to ask what to do if your driver's license is out, but call the non-emergency numbers in your respected counties and your states. And just keep in mind, we are going to get through this.
Absolutely, we're going to get through this.
Absolutely,
we're going to get through this. And I'll say that I think that we're probably going to be a changed nation from this to a certain degree. I don't necessarily think bad, but I think we are going to see some changes. But I do think that we'll be stronger from this.
Absolutely. We're Americans.
Everything that we've ever come across,
it's made us stronger.
We stand and we do what we need to do, and we come out better. And this will be the same.
I'll go out because it affected me this way. Just to see America at its best. When you saw the ship Mercy, and Hope roll into those harbors.
That's right.
If you're not, if that didn't give you goosebumps.
Mercy and Hope.
Oh yeah, rolling in from our government and our military that's second to none. And if that didn't give you hope, to use the name of one of those boats, because that's what we do. We rally around a situation and we press through.
That's right.
That's
right.
And
remember, with being responsible, be there for each other.
Absolutely.
If you've got a neighbor that you know can't get out, when you go out for yourself to get some groceries or get something, stop, just grab them a small something, even if it's just a treat. Let them know that there's still kindness out there. Let them know that they're okay, and life is still going. They are self-quarantining.
Absolutely.
Drop them off a little something.
And we're going to take a quick break. Stay with us. We'll have more coming up on Sheriff Talk.
Rising Fawn Hardware is your place for all your gardening needs. Seeds, onion sets, cabbage, strawberry plants, and more. A complete line of home hardware items, too. Everything for the house, including plumbing, hardware, and metal roofs. Plus, Rising Fawn Hardware has everything you need for your livestock, including name brands like Nutria, Tucker, and Faithway. Always with a hometown atmosphere, it's Rising Fawn Hardware. 4300 Highway 11 South in Rising Fawn. Open 8 in the morning till 6 at night, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and 8 to noon on Wednesday. Even open on Saturday from 8 until 4. Rising Fawn Hardware.
The Big Jet Fly.
I need somebody get back. Honk a cat. Where you talking about time I go? 5, 4, 6, 2, 4. Rolling on the river. Big Jet fashions and just gas. Till I reach the highest ground. The Big Jet Fly. WFI.
Come enjoy pizza for lunch or dinner in a family-friendly atmosphere at Stevie B's Pizza in Fort Payne. Enjoy the buffet and salad bar anytime, or have a specialty pizza made to order. At Stevie B's, take advantage of Two-Stamp Tuesday for adult and senior buffets, and Thirsty Thursdays when drinks are free after 4 p.m. Take out any medium pizza weekdays between 2 and 5 for just $4.49. And on the weekends, take out any 2 large pizzas just $14.99. Book your parties now by calling Stevie B's at 256-979-1234. Stevie B's Pizza, 2200 Galt Avenue North, Fort Payne.
Spring is just around the corner, and your lawn care and decisions about lawn care are soon to be on the horizon. Let me tell you about a good, dependable lawn care service that's ready to provide you honest, dependable lawn care and at a reasonable price. Holman's Lawn Care is ready to maintain your yard this spring. Call Denny Holman at 423-280-6495. Denny will be happy to provide you references and a free estimate. From residential to commercial, each lawn will be done with their personal commitment. Don't put your lawn care decision off any longer. Call Holman's Lawn Care, 423-280-6495.
Welcome back to Sheriff Talk here on KWN. Major, what has, obviously in the last couple of weeks we've talked a lot. Are you still seeing a lot of changes? How the county responds to calls? What type of calls are you responding to during this time? Have you seen a lot of changes in the type calls?
Yeah. Well, we're still responding to calls like normal. If there's something that we can handle over the phone, then we try to do that. If it's a minor type issue that we can handle by phone, we may call ahead first, see if we can handle it by phone. If we can't, we go on out. If it's an emergent situation, we're on our way. We're here.
Have you
we're
seen
covering.
any influx of different type calls?
No, actually, we're seeing a little bit. I'll say we're seeing a little bit. We're not quite as heavy as we were. I think people are dealing with things pretty well. I think being home, they're not out, possibly getting into accidents. Now we have our share of accidents, we have our share of issues, but the roads aren't as busy. The congestion at times isn't as bad. So we're seeing a little bit less there. As far as anything else, we've actually suspended for a short time VIN inspections, non-emergency type interactions that you have to go out. That's a case-by-case basis also. We'll take care of certain things if we need to, but non-essential type calls, non-emergent type calls, we're trying to limit to taking care of over the phone. As much as we can, just to limit our officers' possibility of contamination.
The one of the many stories that I read over the last couple of days, that there has been a influx, talking about different type calls, influx of folks going to the liquor store. The name of the article that I read about that was Drinking in Place.
Oh.
That was people were staying home. They were going to the liquor store and buying more alcohol and drinking at home.
Oh.
There was a couple of things in the article that, could be good or bad with that.
Yeah.
I mean, but the liquor stores have seen an influx of people buying liquor.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either.
That.
But the name of the article that I read was Drinking in Place.
Well, I could see that. Yeah,
sheltering in place. It was
Absolutely.
a playoff of that. But sometimes alcohol leads to calls that you and I talked about last week, that the Chattanooga Police Department have seen a drastic decrease in the number of burglaries that they get called to.
People are home.
But the number of domestic disputes are up.
Yep.
So, because people are at home.
Yep.
And, we've talked about it in seasonal Thanksgiving and Christmas. You see a rise in domestic disputes.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
Because when families
Stressful
get together.
Times, a lot of time together that you're not used to. But I will say that I think folks are doing really well with this. I mean, they're right now they're doing really well. Cabin fever really hasn't set in. I think a lot of people are staying busy. They're not necessarily cooped up in the house. You know what I mean? They can get out and do things outside. They can, again, the projects. I think a lot of people are capitalizing on this. That's why Home Depot and Lowe's and all these places are just full.
Well, I think there's one good thing. You always try to look at the good things. The temperatures, we had 80 degrees a couple of days over the weekend. It was really nice days. The rain had let up. People were mowing their grass. They were doing things outside. So it was, you may have been limited to your home, but you could get out in your yard. You could do things around your house. That the weather was nice. I would, instead of it being 20 degrees and you didn't want to get outside because it's in the middle of winter.
That's
so
right.
I mean, that this comes at a better time, I guess.
It does. Yeah, winter time would be a little bit rough with some of this stuff, but we've had some mercy with the weather. It's been a little rainy, but we've had some mercy that we're able to get out. The weekend was incredible. That was a beautiful weekend. As far as the calls, though, I think people here in Dade are coping with things pretty well. I'm very proud of them. Very happy with that.
Well, it's just, and I still go back to Governor Ivey. It's common sense.
Common sense.
That's exactly what
That may not be so.
Huh?
That may not be so.
Unfortunately, there's probably, I think, what Rick and Bubba that we carry on the radio that they say that's a superpower nowadays. Common sense has become a superpower.
Yeah.
And, it's we're all going to get through this. We've got to stay distant. We've got to take care of that personal responsibility. Got another break coming up. So stay with us here on Sheriff Talk here on KWN.
It's never a good idea for a lawyer to view the evidence of a case through the lens of another person. That's why at the Bandy Firm, we never send investigators or staff to go meet with critical witnesses, investigate the scene, or to inspect important evidence. At the Bandy Firm, Sean Richardson or Marshall Bandy personally meet with witnesses and personally investigate all possible evidence. With 65 years of combined trial experience, trial lawyers Sean Richardson and Marshall Bandy will be with you every step of the way. If you have been injured due to the negligence of another, call the Bandy Firm today. They will be with you every step of the way. The Bandy Firm, 706-935-STEP, or on the web at bandylaw.com. The Bandy Firm, every step of the way. Call 706-935-STEP. That's 706-935-7837.
When you or a loved one is facing a life-limiting illness, hospice care may be the answer. At Tapestry Hospice, the patient is the focus of our care. We are here to serve you and facilitate your wishes. Tapestry caregivers are concerned with managing your pain, keeping you in touch with your physician, and helping you make plans for the future. Hospice is life-affirming, and Tapestry Hospice can help you deal with all aspects of life, mind, body, and soul. Call Tapestry Hospice for more information. 706-383-8812. That's 706-383-8812. Tapestry Hospice. Redefining hope.
Our Constitution identifies we the people as the ones who determine our fate.
And it's we the people who can limit the impact of coronavirus.
We the people need to work as one.
We need to look after each other.
We need to support our friends and our families and our loved ones.
Stay safe, stay strong, and stay positive.
We are going to get through this.
But we, the people, need to do it together.
Go to coronavirus.gov to find the latest information to keep you and your family safe.
Hello everyone. If you live in Catoosa, Chattooga, Dade, or Walker counties, I have the honor of being your state senator. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the coronavirus, or the COVID-19. As you see on the screen, the hotline is there for you to take down. If you have any questions, give them a call, or if you have any emergencies, give them a call regarding the virus. I think that we need to act like what our parents told us, to be very pleasant, but make sure your hands are clean and make sure that you wave or nod or say hello to people. But we probably need to forego the touching right now, even though we're all big huggers up here in Northwest Georgia. But with God's good grace, I know we'll get through this and make sure that our families are safe and your neighbors are safe. So if you have an elderly neighbor or senior friend or senior relatives, give them a call and make sure they have what they need. We want to make sure everybody's taken care of. And if I can be a service to you, please give me a call. My number's on the screen. And if I can ever be help to you, please let me know. And through God's good grace and God's love, we'll get through this all together. May God bless you.
Back now to Sheriff Talk. Have you gotten used to your new title?
What? No, I haven't. I haven't. Matter of fact, I answered the phone the other day, Detective Irwin, and the people I was with just started laughing. I did it again. So no, I have not. I have not gotten used to it. I'm just me. I'm just Barry.
Just Barry.
Yep.
You know, and I think that's good. I mean, obviously there is respect in the titles, and you being second in command for the sheriff's department now. I mean that brings more responsibility than it does a title.
It sure does. It sure does. Sometimes I think it's a bigger sandwich than I can eat. but
anyway, you're exactly right. President Trump earlier today, I saw where, and I think this was to kind of different. Let me back up and say that I saw there were 16 different essential business listings from 30 different states that have talked about essential businesses. There's 16 different. Like this state may have this list of who they say is essential. The next state over may have this list, and it's different.
Right.
You know, so you may see one or two different changes on each one of them.
Right.
So I know the Trump administration earlier today sent out their advisory that all gun stores were essential. And I think, you know, you probably won't hear that a lot, but I think on Sheriff Talk, we definitely talk about guns and gun safety and whatever. So I wanted to put that out there. And, you know, some of the departments are not issuing gun permits because that would be a thing that you had to have close personal, you know, fingerprinting and stuff like that. But as you said, I'll let you say it.
Yeah. You don't need a gun permit in the state of Georgia to own a gun. Now, what a gun permit will do, a gun permit, if you go into a gun shop to buy a weapon, because you have a concealed weapons permit, you don't have to go through the 3-day check. But if you don't have one, you can still purchase the gun. You enter your information in a computer, usually at the gun shop, and then you wait 3 days. They'll receive a yes or a no, and then they'll supply you with a handgun or rifle or whatever it may be. But it sometimes people get caught up in having a permit to be able to own a gun. You don't need a permit to own a gun. Matter of fact, in your car in the state of Georgia, your car is considered an extension of your home. So just like you can have a gun in your home, you can actually have a gun in your car. Now, there are certain areas you don't want to take that. If you have a gun in it, you don't want to go into schools. You don't want to go, different places like that.
Yeah.
Because
regardless if you had a permit or not, you
sure.
still can't go in those places.
That's right. So it's one of those things that you still have to be responsible, but you don't need a permit to have a gun in Georgia.
Well, I know he issued that, or his administration issued that blanket statement, the fact that gun stores were essential.
Yeah. Well, they're a right.
Right.
They're a right. It's not a privilege that can be taken away. It's a right. If you want to buy a gun,
that's the Second Amendment right to bear arms.
That's a right. It's not a privilege. It can't be governed necessarily. I mean, there's certain laws in the books that pertain to, you can't necessarily own a tank. You can't necessarily do things to that extreme. But the basic idea of owning a weapon is everybody's right. It shouldn't be infringed.
Right, and I'm assuming that was put out to kind of normalize that all states should follow. Gun stores should be an essential.
Yeah. Well, last I knew, every state was part of the union, and if it's a right in the union, it should be a right in any state.
Right. What I hope, and you were talking about things were going to be changed, things were going to. And I believe they will after this. We're learning so much. We're learning that we were too dependent on foreign countries for our medicine.
Sure.
When I first heard that 95% of our prescription drugs and the ingredients thereof come from China, we got problems.
Just kind of shuddered.
Who in the world let that happen? And then we found out, we did it because we wanted to get the cheapest products.
Yeah.
And those folks work a lot cheaper than some Americans.
Sure.
So, but we found this out. That can never happen. We can never have our medicine being
what
held up
by
a company, our country that we don't have.
May or may not have our best interests at heart.
Absolutely. So I think you'll see a lot of that. There'll be some drugs manufactured in America again.
I don't mind seeing certain things being bid on by best price. I don't. But to allow, like you said, another country to have such a stranglehold on one item that we desperately need, I think you're right. I think we're going to see a change in that. I know that President Trump has made us almost fossil fuel independent.
Yeah, our oil independent. First time we've
produce
been in
everything
that way in years.
we need.
Yeah.
And we don't need anybody else to provide it for us. They can't fluctuate prices on us as bad. They can't do certain, now there's nothing wrong with buying it cheaper because right now they're buying it cheaper.
Yeah, I've told a couple of people this week, and maybe you one. I said gas has been is the lowest price that I've seen it in probably 5 decades, and we can't go nowhere.
It's been like high school prices for me.
Right.
I can't even believe it. But
we can't drive enough to have to go get gas.
Yeah.
But I will say that gas is one of those things that supply and demand works just opposite. Because the more you buy, the higher they raise the price to slow that consumption down.
That's right.
Now, if you and I were running a hamburger joint, the more hamburgers we make, the less we could charge for each one of them because we make more money. But it don't work that way with gas.
Nope.
Because they use that price to slow us down because it is
to control.
There's a lot of
it is finite. Production or whatever, whether you're looking at 100 years of fuel or 10 or what, there's still a production rate that they can't surpass.
Right.
So
but I mean the gas prices have really. I don't know if a lot of people have noticed it, but $1.49 a gallon.
Yeah.
When's the last time you seen that?
That's Russia and China battling, I believe. That's Russia dumping a whole lot of product into the supply and demand issue.
Yeah.
That I mean.
And the other thing, we got another break coming up here in a few minutes, but the other thing that I hope that we will learn, or maybe we're getting a refresher course on how our structure of states and counties and the federal government, how they all work together, and certain things come from the states, certain things come from a local government, certain things come from a federal government. It's because they're states' rights.
That's
the
right.
governors are in charge, and they've got National Guard that's under the state government.
Right.
But yet they can be called up to full-time military. I mean,
Correct.
so we're getting a civics lesson.
We are.
And we're watching it unfold.
Yeah, I've heard a number of people ask, well, why can't you just shut down the Cloudland Canyon? Well, that's a state park, and if the governor says it stays open, I mean, myself, I'm not going to shut that down.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I've had a couple of people say, well, they're not letting anybody into Florida. Yeah, they are.
They are.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
At several checkpoints, the State Patrol are stopping folks as they come in.
Yep. Do you have a purpose to be here?
Right.
Do you have somewhere to go? When you get there,
are you going to have a place to stay?
That's right.
And if you're coming from a high influx of a state or a city like New York, they're saying, okay, you're going to your home here. You need to go there for 14 days.
That's right.
And shelter in place.
Yep. They're affirming.
There's nobody stopping you at Florida and saying turn around and leave.
No.
They can't.
They can't.
They can't do that.
They can't.
We
still live in America,
right?
And there's no martial law at this time, and you still have free movement. However, I would not suggest blind movement. I would not suggest, well, I'll just go down here and I'll get a room when we get there. That's not going to work. If you don't have some type of reservation or some type of plan, people are probably the officers are probably not going to. They're going to insist. They're going to insist that you need some kind of plan before you get somewhere.
Yeah,
because you can't just be roaming around.
And I had heard, especially with this Cloudland Canyon incident going over the last couple of weekends, well, y'all should just shut down the county. Don't let anybody in. You can't do that.
Can't do that.
We have an interstate to have 70,000 cars a day go through,
which would prevent.
Commerce.
Yeah. In several states, several counties, several areas.
In the South.
Affect,
this is a major transportation hub that goes through 5924. But, I understand what people are saying.
Right.
There's some things that logistically can't be done.
That's right. That's right.
And
even under a martial law, I don't see the interstates being shut down so much as you can't pass through under necessary reasons. Again, you were talking about necessary functions that were to be left open. Of course, you've got fire, police, EMS. You've got all these things that are definitely necessary. But some of the things you don't think about, grocery stores.
Yeah.
People got to eat. Yeah, people got to eat. Pharmacies, yep. Of course, county government work like water and sewer and different things.
Apothecaries that carry out oxygen to folks that are on oxygen at home and transfer it.
You got to
the
have
medical
these
providers, they've got to be able to be there.
Nurses,
in
doctors,
some way.
yeah.
Right.
All
like
the healthcare.
And we got a break here in a second, but about 2 weeks ago, and all of the employees that work here at the radio and TV station know this, because about 2 weeks ago we got an email from the Department of Homeland Security, and it basically says you need to list all of your employees, which we did, and we got a form. I've got one in my car from the United States Department of Homeland Security, and it basically says, if there's any type of curfews, if there's any type of restrictions, please let the person holding this letter through.
Oh, yeah.
Because the
press.
media and the press or whatever, and every member of the station here has got one in their car. And at that time, it was prior to shelter in place in New York. It was prior to any of the big cities that were doing the restrictions, but the Department of Homeland Security was getting out in front of it.
Right.
And the letter we got, dated to a certain time in May. Right. And, when we got that, I kind of thought, well, wonder why we're getting this, right. But now I understand, because you can't treat here like you do in New York, and the Department of Homeland Security covers the whole thing. Right. So they went ahead and sent this to all the media, right, where all the folks that are working in media can get back, even like our engineer, in case we went off the air, he would need to be able to go through to fix something, right, to get us back on, and the public broadcast, the right, broadcast of information. So there's a lot of things going on in the background that we don't necessarily see.
I got you.
And I thought,
absolutely, yeah.
Because these essential folks have got to still be able to move.
We still got a country to run.
Absolutely. We're going to take a break. Stay with us. So lots more to come here on Sheriff Talk.
The Moore family name has built a legacy of trust, compassion, and peace of mind by standing with families during time of loss. Now in our 70th year, the Moore family commitment grows even stronger, from affordable, traditional services to cremation. Our experienced staff stands ready to follow through on you and your family's wishes. Since 1945, the Moore family of funeral homes, North Sand Mountain and Trenton, always dedicated to those we serve. Come hungry and leave satisfied at Cloud's Pizza, Highway 71 in Higdon. Cloud's Pizza uses only the freshest ingredients, and we hand toss our own pizza dough. Our pizzas are made from scratch when you order, so they're always fresh. And don't forget about our famous Sand Mountain cheese sticks. You can eat from the daily buffet or try a mouth-watering hamburger or cheeseburger. Come see your friends at Cloud's Pizza, Highway 71 in Higdon, and never leave hungry. Call ahead at 597-3100 for Cloud's Pizza. Visit us on Facebook at Cloud's Pizza and more.
Come see us at Cloud's Pizza.
Landers McClarty Ford, Fort Payne, Alabama, home of America's hardest working truck. Find a 2019 F-150 XLT, 0% financing for 72 months, a total savings of $10,750. Plus, take an additional $750 Ford credit bonus cash. See us today, 1916 Glen Boulevard, Southwest in Fort Payne, Alabama. Landers McClarty Ford, on the web at LandersMcClartyFord,
NL Tax and Bookkeeping is ready to serve all of your tax needs. Nancy Anderton's been serving the tri-state area since 1978. Now you can get your taxes prepared with no out-of-pocket expenses. Ask about up to a $1,200 refund advance. It's fast, easy, safe, and convenient. NL Tax and Bookkeeping is open 8:30 a.m. till 6:30 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, and 8:30 a.m. till 2 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. Questions about the Affordable Care Act? We have those answers too. And we offer a free form price comparison. Experienced and professional tax services. NL Tax and Bookkeeping. 500 Alabama Highway 73, 7 miles from downtown Trenton. Call today at 706-657-4758 or 256-597-2829. NL Tax and Bookkeeping. 706-657-4758 or 256-597-2829.
Continuing on here with Sheriff Talk, we've got Major Irwin. That's still, still trying.
It doesn't roll off the tongue very easy.
We still got. We're still talking about the various things. I want to go back and reiterate Cloud and Canyon State Park. They have limited to 150 cars at a time.
At a time, correct.
So the first 150 go in. They'll be told to do social distancing. The Department of Natural Resources, the game wardens, if you will, are going to be posted, and they're going to be there.
Sure.
They're going to be using. I saw somewhere, bullhorns to say, "Hey,
spread apart,
that type of thing." And then, after they get 150 in the park, then as one leaves, you'll be able to go.
Yep.
And kind of.
It'll be a little bit limited as far as how many cars can be parked waiting. I'm sure that you can't be all the way out onto 136. You won't be able to do that. But if you're inside the park limits, I think you could probably wait in your vehicle for a time to go through. But they'll inform you of that when you get there.
It's all about common sense.
Yep.
Distancing ourselves, staying the 6 feet apart. Yep. Don't get any. Obviously without your family, you don't necessarily
Yeah.
ever need to
You
get
gotta-
into
you gotta herd
anybody's
them in,
personal
too. Yeah.
personal space. I mean, there's a limit. You don't want anybody in your personal space unless it's your family.
That's right.
And
remember, that's your personal responsibility.
Right.
To do that. That distancing, that keeping your family in, keeping your family, close into you. I mean, that's of course that's not necessarily social distancing. That's your family, and you're going to know their status.
well, and they're in your house.
Yeah,
that's
right.
And I've had some doctors, and which is rightfully so. If a member of your family starts showing symptoms of running a low-grade fever, then they need to go quarantine themselves in a bedroom.
That's right. Have a section of your home set apart that that they could have the things that they need, and you can keep separate from everyone else, so it doesn't perpetuate in the household.
Remember, this is a virus that is in the molecules of moisture.
Sure.
From your nose
vapor.
and your mouth and your sputum and your all of that. That's where it comes from. It's not an airborne. It's not a here in the air. Now, it can come out as moisture and float through the air for a small distance, and that's the reason it's 6 feet.
Yep. That's right.
To keep that from happening. So it's not an airborne thing where anybody in the room could get it.
Right.
You
Right.
could have a big room and, be in there with affected people and not get it because you got to be in close contact. Or and the reason they say wash your hands, because if it's somebody had sat here with it and had got the molecules on this surface, then I touched it, it could be on my hand. Why do they tell you not to touch your face? Because it's on your hand. Go wash your hand. It ain't on there no more. So if you touch your face, you won't get it up here to where it affects your respiratory system.
Right, that's right. Now you and I are both old time medics from from the 80s.
From a different time.
From a different breed. I can remember, and it was not really funny, but I can remember working with some gentlemen, and what had happened is they had gloves on. They had not been working on a patient. Had not been working with a patient. But we had just cut him out of a vehicle, and through all the work and everything else, his gloves had gotten dirty, and he was touching everything. There were black marks all over his face where he's scratching, and I look up, and it just, in the midst of all this turmoil, I look up, and there's these black marks where he's been touching his face. It's a good thing you didn't have blood all over your hands, But those are things that you got to watch. Even with gloves, that whole story was, even with gloves, it's still not safe to touch your face. That's what you want to prevent.
No, because the gloves may touch something that you don't want in your face.
That's right. That's right.
That's the whole reason with gloves. You can touch the surface and be able to still work, but no telling what the surface may have.
That's right.
So I mean, it's common sense. 6 feet distance. If you're sick, stay at home. Stay at home if you don't need to be out.
That's right.
Just don't go anywhere.
If you do have to be out and you're somewhat sick, personal protective masks, your gloves, different things. Remember that just because you're sick, you also should take it your responsibility to protect other people from getting what you have.
Yeah, and if you're having any type of symptoms, you need to call your doctor and then see what they want you to be able to do. And get somebody else to go get your food. Go
Make a
somebody
phone
else.
call.
That's right. We talked about it at the beginning.
Yeah.
We need to do our part. Shelter in place to the point, stay at home. And if you have to get out and you're not sick or you're not in that age group that are vulnerable with a comprised immune system or whatever, use common sense.
Yep.
Go to the grocery store. And before we go off, and we've got to go, we have restaurants, great restaurants that we love to go eat at.
That's right.
And they're still offering takeout, and they're still offering pickup. And in some cases, they'll even bring them to you.
Yeah.
Go and order takeout.
Support them
as many times as you can.
Yeah, support them.
And these restaurants are still there for us. Go by and pick it up. Take it home. A lot of cases, they'll bring it out to you.
Sure.
You don't even have to get out of your car. Major, thank you.
Absolutely.
We'll see you next week on the next edition of Sheriff Talk. You've been watching Sheriff Talk, live from the studios of KWN TV7, all around the tri-state area, as we give you information that you can use concerning law enforcement. Join us again next week for another episode of Sheriff Talk, a public affairs program of KWN TV7.